How is it going, good people of YouTube? Welcome to another concept series episode. This episode is Escape from Furnace Prison, the game, or as it would be called, Furnace Breakout would be the game. So, Furnace Breakout is a single player with optional co-op third-person stealth action survival horror game inspired by the Escape from Furnace series. A series by Alexander Gordon Smith. Escape from Furnace is it's a novel series by Alexander Gordon Smith. Players embody Alex Sawyer, a 14-year-old framed for murder and sentenced to life in Furnace Penitentiary, the world's most secure underground prison for juvenile offenders. What starts as a brutal prison survival sim evolves into a nightmarish descent into body horror, monstrous experiments, and an apocalyptic conspiracy. The game blends claustrophobic prison politics, things like gang rivalries, like the Skulls, brutal daily routines, tense stealth escapes, visceral combat against grotesque creatures, and RPG progression tainted by the corrupting nectar, or nectar, however you say that. It's got an A at the end of it, between the T and the R, so I'll just say nectar. A golden flecked serum that mutates inmates into superhuman monsters. The campaign would span between 20 to 30 hours across 5 acts, mirroring the 5 books, which is Lockdown, Solitary, Death Sentence, Fugitives, and Execution. So each 5 act is the story of the 5 books. It ramps from raw survival to world-ending boss rushes. Think The Last of Us meets Dead Space in a Prison Break-style labyrinth with roguelike escape attempts for replayability. Roguelite, I should say. Roguelite escape attempts for replayability. So the platforms: PC, PS5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch. The key themes: so framed innocence, brotherhood under pressure, the horror of losing humanity, systemic evil, stuff like that, which would actually the experiments within the prison echo the World War II origins of these experiments and all that. The story and campaign structure. So the prologue, the arrival, lockdown. Lockdown is the first book in the series. Framed for killing his best friend Toby by black suits, Alex arrives at Furnace via a grim bus ride. Survive intake, befriend Z, which is his loyal cellmate, and navigate Gen Pop politics. Act 1, The Blood Watch, which is the Solitary book, the second book in the series. Witness Weezers, gas-masked surgeons, dragging inmates for mutation. First failed escape via incinerator chimney lands you in the hole, which is, the hole is like, for those that don't know, the hole is like if where you go for like punishment and whatnot. So they throw you in the hole. The hole could be solitary confinement, stuff like that. You just are thrown in a cell and you're there for 3 days, or a week even. Act 2, Nectar Injection. or nectar injection. I don't know how which one they want to say, but yeah, because it's nectar, so I don't know if it's nectar or nectar. Injection. So this is Death Sentence, the third book in the series. Captured again, injected with nectar in blood-soaked labs. Fight monstrous rats, which is like early mutants, and berserkers while battling internal corruption. Act 3, Surface Fugitive, which is the fourth book of Fugitives, which is the fourth book in the series. Break out with allies Simon and Ozzy. Evade hounds and black suits above ground, uncovering Alfred's Furnace plan to unleash mutants worldwide. Act 4, Execution, which is the final fifth book in the series. Infiltrate Furnace's island lair. The climax would be confront Warden Cross and the immortal Alfred Furnace in a nectar-fueled apocalypse. There would be multiple endings, so fully mutate into a black suit, which is like a bad ending. Escape sane but scarred, which would be the good ending. Or destroy Furnace but sacrifice allies, which is like your bittersweet ending. There would be New Game Plus, which would let you replay as a Nectar-enhanced Alex or Z for, as like, when Z, that would be like a DLC, So the core gameplay loop. Survival day cycle, so manage hunger, sanity, and infection meter. Scavenge for scraps in cells, kitchens, and laundry. Fail checks, so like you would hallucinate. Fight inmates or attract Weezers, so that's if you like fail checks. You fail things. Stealth and infiltration. Crouch in vents, pick locks, which would be QTE puzzles. Craft shivs from bones or razors. Avoid patrols by black suits, which are the superhuman guards, and hellhounds, so avoid patrols and stuff like that. That's your stealth and infiltration. Combat, brutal, resource scarce melee, so, pipes and forks would be, your melee. Which would escalate into improvised guns. Mutants would split like in Dead Space, so like you could shoot limbs to stagger. Nectar upgrades grant claws, regeneration, but risk berserker mode, which is like an uncontrollable rampage. Escape attempts, so roguelike mini runs, so like a chimney climb with permadeath on failure. Success unlocks progression skills or allies. The ally system, so recruit or betray inmates, so Z is one of the inmates, which would be loyalty boosts. He would be for loyalty boosts. Gary, for Skull Gang access, and Skull Gang is a gang in the book. And if you befriend him or you recruit him, you get access to that gang. Choices affect riots or backstabs. Alright, next up we have mechanics. So the first mechanic, infection meter. Fills from nectar exposure, boosts strength, but erodes sanity and controls. Never forget your name to resist. So the book tie-in is the Death Sentence mutations, where you become a monster and then you become a black suit and you're one of them and you're just a mindless drone. Another mechanic, crafting. So combine rags plus metal for a silencer, or combine bones plus wire to create a trap. Now the book tie-in would be improvised escapes, so like, very resource heavy, you know, create things to help you. Next up we have sanity events, so you would get things like flashbacks to Toby's death, which would, a fail would equal a panic attacks or phantom attacks. The book tie-in is psychological horror, because there is a lot of psychological horror in the book. Another mechanic is riot mode, so trigger mass breakouts, ally with gangs versus guards / monsters. The book tie-in, Gen Pop uprisings, like the general... Gen Pop means general population. The general population would riot against the oppressors, and that would be intertwined into the game. Next up we have key features, so dynamic levels, procedural rings, solitary pits, labs, and tunnels, with handcrafted set pieces like incinerator, ascent with collapsing platforms. So here's some of the horrors, or the enemies, I should say. So the first enemy is the Weezers. Behavior, stealthy, gas mask, stalkers, which inject nectar into you as the player. Weaknesses is noise distractions. Next up, we have the rats / berserkers. Horde rushes, split on death. Fire / improvised explosives is the weakness. So fire or anything explosive is a weakness to the rats / berserkers. And they really rush you. They rush you. They're a rushdown style enemy. Next enemy, we have the black suits. Bullet sponge elites with super strength. Their weaknesses would be headshots or ambushes, so like stealth attacks from behind. Next enemy is the Hellhounds. Tracker pat, so they track and they move around in packs, and they sniff blood trails, so they can track you basically. Their weaknesses is meat bait, so you can use meat to like bait them away from yourself and stuff like that. Some of the power-ups, so Nectar vials, which mean like you inject a nectar vial, or you drink it, I guess you would, and it gives you temporary superhuman abilities. So next is contraband cigarettes. So you'll smoke a cigarette and it gives you a boost in sanity. Next up we have the stolen warden keys, which is another power-up. It gives you access. If you have the warden key, or the warden keys, it gives you access to things that you wouldn't normally have. You can open doors that you weren't able to open before. Next up we have co-op. So local / online, drop in as Z or Simon for 2-player escapes. 2-player escapes, and can go up to maybe 4-player escapes. Next up we have collectibles, so audio logs. You have Warden Cross's World War II backstory. You have inmate drawings, nectar vials for lore codex. So some of the replayability. So there's 3 difficulties. So normal is a survival focus, hard is permadeath, and nightmare is a nectar only playthrough. Score attacks. Score attacks for fastest escapes. So you have like a score based on uh, how you escape, or how fast you escape, or how good you escape. It would be an overall score actually. So like based on like how good you are at escaping and whatnot. Um, so the art and atmosphere. So the visual style, gritty realism with crimson lighting, rusting steel, and fleshy growths in lower levels. So there's dynamic shadows for stealth. Nectar glows gold black. Um, Next up we have the audio, heart pounding industrial soundtrack, clanging pipes, distant screams. VO, which is Alex's inner monologue, which narrates dread, which is Beneath Hell is Furnace, stuff like that. And Beneath Hell is Furnace is it comes from Below Heaven is Hell, and Beneath Hell is Furnace Penitentiary. So, it's kind of like a metaphor. So some of the horror beats, so jump scares with blood watch grabs, body horror, watch mutations in real time, and psychological mirrors show your changing face. So like when you look through the mirror, you can like see like you become a monster. Yeah, and that's everything. Um, I think it's a I actually the only reason why I know about the Escape from Furnace novel series is because I was watching or I was looking at books to buy about like horror books about prisons and whatnot, and I came across Escape from Furnace, um, and I watched like a trailer about it. I watched a video where uh, the author himself, Gordon, actually did like an ad for it, or like maybe not an ad, but like a where he talked about it. And I'm like, man, that's really cool. I'm like, I thought, why not just make this? Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just came across it and was like, you know what? Just saw a video of Alexander Gordon Smith talking about it, and I thought, you know what? Let's make a video about it. This was like before I even started doing YouTube, by the way. But yeah. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. What do you think about this concept? And how would you change it? How would you fix it and whatnot? What things would you take out? But yeah, thank you for watching my video. I appreciate your viewership, and yeah, you guys have a good one.